I'm happy to greet you.
Thank you very much.
At our annual conference, which is called Summit of Minds here in Armenia. I'm a bit sad that you couldn't make to come here in person. Would love to show you Armenia. I would love to meet you as a fellow scientist. And I'm also happy to meet someone of your caliber that has done so much for everybody on this planet, discovering laws of nature. It's a wonderful trip of discovery. People always think that the great discoverer were Columbus. They don't realize that even Albert Einstein was a discoverer. He was not creating theory of gravitation. He was discovering it, which was created by God or by nature. So I'm very happy to see you, and I'm also happy that I know that you work also with Technion in Haifa.
Yes, do you know the Technion?
I know it very well because when I was young scientist, I was doing research on biometric theory of gravitation, and the person who was the founder of that theory together with Albert Einstein, who was Professor Nathan Rosen. Yes. Nathan Rosen was professor at Technion with his collaborator Mark Israelit, and we were in contact. I was a young scientist, and he was prominent scientist that had the glory of writing papers together with Albert Einstein. And later I came to Technion. And I was in Technion 1.5 years ago when I came to the memorial events related to Holocaust. After the events, I went to Haifa and I went to Technion and had the pleasure of giving a lecture about quantum politics. Not quantum chemistry or quantum physics, but what quantum behavior of politicians. So welcome to our summit. And I would love to hear in short, how do you see, if you can just describe what was the motivation when you were doing your research? I think for a lot of young people, it's very important to know how someone like you that eventually got a Nobel Prize, what was the focus, what you were doing before? That will be my first question. Please.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about history and you will understand how I became a scientist. When I was young, I was very curious. And one of the events that changed my life was a gift that my grandfather gave me. It was a magnifying glass. And I was walking through the fields of my city. Today, when you say the fields in my city, people say, what fields? Only high rises. But there were fields when I was young, looking at everything small. Insects, flowers, and so on. And I fell in love with the world of small things. But my hero, when I was young, and I read many books, my hero was an engineer. It was in a book by Jules Verne, Mystery Island, and
yes,
the hero there
I read that
is
too
an engineer.
when I was boy.
Okay, so we know the book. And I wanted to be like him. That engineer could make anything. He was a real technical leader and created modern life in the days of Jules Verne, on an island with a group of 4 more people. I wanted to be like him. And so I went to the Technion after my military service to study mechanical engineering. And I graduated as a mechanical engineer. The year was 1966. There was a big recession in Israel, and I could not find a job. By that time, I was married already, so I had some financial responsibility. And I said, well, I'll do my master's degree, be a TA, teaching assistant, get some salary, and in 2 years after my master, I will find a job, which I did. I did find a wonderful job. But during these 2 years, I fell in love with science and decided to continue for my PhD. My field of expertise is transmission electron microscopy. Magnifying glass, transmission electron microscopy. Same, basically the same filled at the same curiosity to understand the world of small things. How small? Atoms, arrangements of atoms in crystals. And this way, I did a lot of studies by using my expertise of electron microscopy. And this was also the way to do my discovery of quasi-periodic materials that gave me many prizes, the Wolf Prize, which is an Israeli prize, International Israeli Prize, and eventually the Nobel Prize. So this was my path to science.
I'm sure that you said thank you to your grandfather the day that you got the Nobel Prize.
Absolutely. You know, small gestures like this, when somebody is young, can change somebody's life. It did change my life.
What do you think? Yeah, your discovery, how does it change, or how will it change life of other people, normal people?
Okay. Some discoveries change people's life. Other discoveries add knowledge and create new knowledge. Let me give an example. When the Nobel was given to the discovery of the structure of the ribosome, which is a big molecule in our body that produces proteins, this has a meaning in our everyday life. And the fact that now we have solutions, at least vaccinations against coronavirus, it has something to do with it. We understand how it works. Okay. Other discoveries, for instance, people that received the Nobel Prize in Physics with me, they discovered that the world is not only expanding, it was known before, it is expanding in acceleration. Wow, but how does it affect our lives? Zero.
You mean the universe? Not the world, the universe.
Yes.
Yes.
The universe is expanding. Okay. So about my discovery changed our understanding of the basic assumptions in the science of crystallography. The science of crystallography assumed for 70 years since the beginning of crystallography that all crystals are periodic. I discovered crystals that are not periodic, and it changed the definition of a crystal. How does it affect? Well, many people followed my footsteps and discovered many more quasi-periodic materials, more than 100 different ones. And many of them have applications. And these applications are useful for our everyday life.
So since some materials can be in the form of crystal and then non-crystal, would you say that it's the transition from one state to another or not?
Well, quasi-periodic crystals are crystals. What does it mean? They diffract X-rays just like crystals. They give you diffraction of X-rays, of electrons, they diffract. And but the order of atoms in them is not periodic. It is ordered, very nice order, but it is not periodic, it is quasi-periodic. And you, as a basic mathematician in your background, can understand it, but I think that the people who may listen later on don't like me to go into detail. So we have a group which is growing in numbers of new crystals which are quasi-periodic.
So now if you are the grandfather of younger people, girls and boys, what sort of a magnifying glass would you give it to them? What sort of a suggestion will you make? If you are a grandfather now.
Yes,
So what sort of a magnifying glass will you give them? What sort of a suggestion? What should they look for to become Nobel Prize winners in 5 or 10 years' time?
Okay, so what is my advice to my grandchildren? This is the question. Okay.
Yes.
I have 12. I have 12 grandchildren. Okay, my advice, not only advice, I support them. My advice is be educated. Be educated as high as you can. Be a PhD. Get a PhD, right? Decide now that you're going to get a PhD. In what? Whatever you want. Something that you like. Find something that you like and become an expert in it. Whatever you want. You want to be a mathematician? Great. You want to be a physicist? Great. You want to play saxophone? Wonderful. You want to play the piano? Great. But be the best. Be the best and continue to study all your life. I want you to have an independent profession in which you are very, very good. Possibly number one. This is my message. I have now one grandchild who graduated from university. I have two more who are in university. I pay for their tuition of everybody. I paid for the tuition of my children. I now pay for the tuition of my grandchildren.
Do you think that the modern educational systems are supporting excellence or not? Or what is that we have to do in our educational system to find excellent talent? Do the school education, university, support excellence or not?
Okay. Not only do I have an answer, I have been doing a lot in this field.
Okay.
I claim that we need to bring into the minds of young people rational thinking. They have to think in rational terms. They have to understand the world around them.
Okay.
And they have to know what is right and what is nonsense from a very early age. How early? Kindergarten. I created a program to teach science in kindergartens. This is not talking rabbits and flying dolls. No, real science in kindergartens.
Well, can I have one? Can I have one? I want one of your programs for my grandchildren. Can you send it to me?
Oh, okay.
Your program,
fantastic.
Teaching science.
Okay, so I started this program with 60 kindergartens in my hometown, Haifa, which you know.
60.
And it grew into a fantastic project. And many delegations from the world, I encourage a delegation from Armenia to come and see a science kindergarten. I will take them there. I will show them. They can take 1,000 pictures. They can copy it. I would like them to copy what I have done. I do it for many countries. Any country is interested, I am hosting. Okay? I really want the world to copy it for free. We give everything because this is a way to have a better world. Young people that think in rational terms, young people that understand the world around them will not listen to nonsense later on.
Excellent. So on this very optimistic note, I want to thank you for our discussion. And the message that I take with you are two: to support and encourage young people to be the best. Doesn't matter what you do. Are you in football, sports, music, science, technology, or you are an artist? The second message is that you don't be afraid of teaching younger generation real science from kindergarten. Am I right?
Yep, absolutely.
And with these two great messages, I want to thank you. And I hope that tomorrow our colleagues and friends who are invited, and they are the community of the Summit of Minds, they will enjoy your contribution, and it will create another discussion about science, about excellence, about children as well.
I propose that if we have another discussion some other day, I will let you originate it. We will talk about entrepreneurship, which is very important for Armenia. And we'll talk about intrapreneurship, being an entrepreneur within the organization. These are two important subjects. Some other time, when you have time.
With great pleasure, we'll be in touch with you and we'll continue our discussions. And in the meantime, give my best regards to colleagues, professors at the Technion.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with your conference.
Thank you very much indeed.